This video is powered by, as always, entertainment. If you enjoyed this content, consider becoming a patron over on patreon.com/asalways for access to the Patreon exclusive podcast, The Kill Connor Clubhouse, early access to the Cinema Room podcast, being part of polls for future videos, and other early access material. With that said, please enjoy the video. I used to love this time of year. There's plenty of reasons still to love this time of year, although there was one thing in particular I looked forward to every single autumn, and that was Assassin's Creed. Ever since 2009 they released annually, and it's strange to say given my position on the series now, but it was the highlight of my year. There was a certain atmosphere to finally hopping into the new Assassin's Creed and returning to a franchise that to me at the time felt like home. This all comes across as mighty melodramatic, so let's just chill out a little bit. I just want to take a minute to talk about a product given to me by a company called Govee. Now, this isn't necessarily a sponsored video, they just sent me the product and I thought I'd talk about it. There's a link in the description to the product if you'd like to pick it up yourself if you're interested. As well as that, there's also a discount code. It's a set of strip lights that you can attach to anywhere that you would like. It's controlled via either Amazon Alexa or by an app that you can download to your smartphone. In the box, you get instructions on how to set it up. You get the actual light itself. You get some clips so you can attach it more securely. You get the plug so you can actually power the thing, and you get the little control set that will plug into the lights. The lights come like this. They're on a little roll. You can unroll them and unravel them and then stick them wherever you would like. Personally, I decided to attach it to the back of my monitor. I actually managed to do 2 laps around the outside of my monitor, which was great, and I think it looks really cool. The instructions themselves were a little bit confusing at first, but once I figured out what I was doing, it was pretty easy. And I like how it looks, the way that you can just change the color with the app to whatever color you would like, the way that you can set up different scenes and sync it to music. It's really, really cool, and the way that it works with Alexa as well, if you have that, is great and easily accessible. I think it looks really cool, and I'm really actually pretty happy with how this turned out. So like I said, link in the description to this product if you would like to pick it up, as well as a discount code. So there you go. Fantastic. Go and pick it up. Link down below. It's pretty cool. For the past, I'm not even sure how long, probably closing in on 2 years now, I've done nothing but speak negatively about Assassin's Creed, and I mean, there's good reason for that. I focused my positive energy towards other projects, which I've worked so hard on, but recently I've been replaying the Ezio trilogy on streams, which has been a ton of fun, and upon starting Revelations, it hit me. Something I'd never really thought about, but immediately overwhelms me with nostalgia. And it's one of the key elements in what made me feel so good every time I played the opening to a new Assassin's Creed. Every single Assassin's Creed has this feel, bar the most recent entry, which shall not be named. Some have it more than others, but somehow they all manage to create the same effect. Waiting all year for the launch of the game, then finally putting the disc in the tray and booting it up, hearing the main menu music, finding out the next stage of the modern day, getting into the open world, seeing a doctor or a tailor on the minimap, climbing your first viewpoint. All of these things make up the feeling of stepping into a new Assassin's Creed title. That feeling of coming home to something so familiar yet new. It was special to me, and I'm sure it was for many of you. I think what we really have to thank for the classic Assassin's Creed feeling is Assassin's Creed 2. AC2 introduced a much more cinematic approach to Assassin's Creed. We had full cutscenes as part of the game, we had a powerful score that matched the camera shots, and we had a much more prominent story along with things to do outside of just missions. The fact Assassin's Creed 2 was also so good solidified this as Assassin's Creed. This model is something that will become so special. First off, you meet Ezio, a charismatic young Florentine noble. You're then thrust into combat. You meet Vieri, a villain. You meet your brother Federico. You're introduced to the basic mechanics in this new open world to explore. You learn to loot, you visit a doctor, and all of these things become ingrained as Assassin's Creed, and continue to as you progress through the game. The key moment, however, I feel in truly solidifying this is the title card. You race your brother to the roof of the church, and as you look out over the city of Florence, we get the build-up of Ezio's family along with the title card of Assassin's Creed 2. Playing this for the very first time was magical, and I knew I was playing something special, and I was finally back in Assassin's Creed. Brotherhood continued this. You start with Ezio exactly where you left off in the previous game. The entire year I've been waiting to find out what happens next, to Desmond, to the modern day story, but mostly to Ezio. And we start in the Vatican, right where we left off. It just felt like I was returning to an old friend, and we were straight back into it. Mario shows up, Roger Craig Smith voicing Ezio, you wander the streets of Rome to escape, the music is Assassin's Creed through and through, you climb the tower and Ezio's family plays again. The title card fades in and there it is, we're back. It's Assassin's Creed. It feels so familiar and it feels so good to be back. Not to mention first getting to Rome, climbing your first viewpoint to see the city, visiting a doctor just like the start of Assassin's Creed 2, and seeing those iconic icons on the map. It feels so good, and I'm certain you can't possibly understand this without having experienced it yourself. Revelations was the one that sparked this video, and man does it do this well. First off, we have the modern day. We're back with Desmond, we meet 16, we're picking up after Lucy's death in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and we're thrust back into the Animus. Being back with Ezio was the familiarity we needed to kick things off, but at the same time, we're in this entirely new place with no returning characters, but we join Ezio for this journey. The entire opening is so good, but the bit that got me was when you first arrive in Constantinople. You're let loose in this world, and you can see the shop markers, you go and climb a viewpoint, you race Yusuf to the top of the Galata Tower, and man, it's just so Assassin's Creed. We're back, we're home, and we have another whole game to explore. It's something so special, and I think the Ezio trilogy did the work to make all of those iconic things feel so iconic to the brand, and made me feel so excited to play a new installment. AC3 is where things change. A lot of you know I don't like this game, but the one thing it nails is the opening. It feels like Assassin's Creed in every single way. It's fantastic. I was so excited for this game. Remember, in 2012, Assassin's Creed had done no wrong. They released 4 games that I adored. So waking up early, getting this game in the post was just a fucking joy. Finally booting it up and starting it just felt so right. For a start, we open with the modern day. The gang is back, we open the Grand Temple, and we're thrown into a tutorial where we're moving through the Animus. We're getting objectives and information from Rebecca, and immediately it feels so familiar. We then take control of Haytham, a character who I love from the very offset, and we play this incredibly made set piece where we scale the opera house, we perform an assassination, and we escape using the crowd. It's a great sequence and totally feels like Assassin's Creed. Finally reaching boss, and it has the classic intro of climbing a tower and having the logo appear with the game's theme, and fuck me does AC3 do it so nicely. It hits me every single time. Even though I dislike this game as a whole, it never fails to make me happy playing through the intro, and that's the power of Assassin's Creed openings. AC4 is a little bit different. Everything is sort of in a different order, but it still nails it. Let me try and break this down. So for a start, we're in a sea battle. It's not until you reach the island and start chasing Walpole that nostalgic feeling kicks in. You chase him, you get the robes, you do a viewpoint, and you make your way down to Bonnet. After saving him, you make your way to the ship, and this is the moment where it starts to feel like Assassin's Creed for me. As you sail through the rocks with the sea splashing against the ship, Edward and Steed talk to each other, getting to know one another. The music swells, and eventually you reach the open sea, and you're then brought into the modern day. This whole section feels so Assassin's Creed. The back and forth banter, the music, the inclusion of the Animus early on, but not only that, they take you to Havana just after this, and whilst in Havana you buy your new weapons, you do your first proper viewpoint, and you get into a fist fight, and it all just screams Assassin's Creed. Just the way it's structured, you feel at home even though it's so very different in a sense. Unity and Rogue dropped the same year, and my hype was huge around this time. The first time I had a large community following on YouTube, and we were all hyped together. Finally getting into these games was just so special, and it felt yet again like another return to familiarity. Let's talk Rogue first. Rogue is a game that I'm sure you know by now I'm not a huge fan of, but it does nail its opening tone. For a start, we get the eagle accompanied by Shay's theme. We follow the eagle while Shay talks about his story in retrospect. We then take control of Shay himself, climbing through the trees, meeting all the major characters. We find collectibles, chests, we loot things, and eventually we take control of the Morrigan and straight away takes you into battle. It's not as deep and nostalgic as the other ones, but it still captures part of the magic of booting up a new Assassin's Creed game. Now, Unity, on the other hand, really gives you something to love, something to feel nostalgia for. The opening is all great with the Jacques de Molay stuff, Arno as a kid, all that, but the bit that really feels like Assassin's Creed to me is when we're first in control of adult Arno. It begins with a classic chase, some witty banter, and then you're let loose in the world. When you do your first viewpoint, it feels so Assassin's Creed, and the fact we're playing as just this guy, this kid, is almost a callback to Ezio, and it feels like we're playing classic Assassin's Creed. The title card appears after escaping the Bastille and performing the Leap of Faith, and it's like, yeah, this is it. This is Assassin's Creed. It's a shame the rest of the game isn't as strong, but the one thing I won't deny is the tone and the opening. They absolutely nailed it. Now, Syndicate, a game I really do not enjoy. It's more of a parody of Assassin's Creed by the end. It's a joke game to me, but that being said, the opening is very good. The part that really feels like Assassin's Creed is when you first make it to London. Straight away, Jacob is robbed and you're thrown into a chase and then a fight with some gang members, followed by a race to the top of a tower. You meet Henry Green, you establish your goals, you get to do your first viewpoint, and it's like, you're back. We're in the open world and it's Assassin's Creed. And again, it's sad this game wasn't very good in the end, but the opening is Assassin's Creed through and through. Now after Syndicate, we had a 2-year gap. It was the first time in a long time that we didn't get another annual Assassin's Creed game. It was needed, 100%. I think we need more than 2-year gaps, but when Origins launched, my god, did it feel like a return home. The community had grown so much over 2016 and 2017, hyping up, waiting for Origins. When that game came out, I was so fucking excited. Sitting on the main menu, listening to the music, clicking start and loading it up, it already felt like I was back in Assassin's Creed. The opening with Bayek confronting Project was intense. It was a fucking return to form for Assassin's Creed. We had the joke parody game of Syndicate 2 years prior, and Unity never had anything this strong in terms of writing. It was incredible. And the moment it really felt like a return to Assassin's Creed was when you reach Siwa. You escape the temple, you meet Hepzibah, you ride across the desert talking to each other, and as you come over the dunes, you see Siwa. You ride down to the town and you're back. There's tailors, there's blacksmiths, you see the people going about their business, and it's Assassin's Creed. They built up this feeling, this nostalgia for a particular opening, introducing you to the world, setting up side quests and objectives for you to complete, the different stuff you can do in the world, and then just letting you explore this brand new playground. It just feels like Assassin's Creed. Some games, like I said, do it better than others, but pretty much all of them have it. Even the bad ones have this feeling like you're returning home to something very familiar and so special. I miss it, I really do, but this video wasn't to yearn for Assassin's Creed to return to this, but to appreciate it. Something that no other game has really done for me, and something I experience every time I boot up any of these games. All the feelings come rushing back to me, and I'm sure that even post-Odyssey, the next installment will do the same, regardless of whether it sucks or not. The opening, since it's Ashraf, will probably feel like Assassin's Creed. It was something that had me excited every single year for the next one, something that made me feel such joy in playing a new title, and the feeling of just, let's do this. It's Assassin's Creed. We're back.
This decision is yours alone to make. Only do so quickly.
Ezio Auditori, la la la. Prego. Forgive me.
Dash my buttons. Your life seems a grand one, if I may say. So full of adventure.
Now, to find Henry Green and formulate a plan of attack against the Templars.
Who's Mr. Green again?
The assassin watching over London? Did you not listen the first 3 times?
Stay my blade from the flesh of the innocent. Hide in plain sight. Never compromise the assassin brotherhood.
I just wait in the shadows, and I will kill you all. Everyone who sniffed the air that day in Siwa!
It's Desmond. Don't understand. Please wait. I have so many questions.
Roma.
That's it, Evie. We can rally them to our side.
Oh, like the way that you rallied those card players at the Open Tavern into the river.
Oh, that was different. They beat me at whist. I can see it now. We'll call ourselves the Rooks.
Haytham should have come to me. We would have found another way. Yes. But then you would have known.
It is a good life we lead.
Best. Never change.
And may it never change us.
Thanks for watching. I wanted to appreciate this. I'm sure many of you can relate, waiting all year for the next Assassin's Creed, finally to get the game and just feeling at home. It was a really great feeling. Thanks for watching. Thanks to our Patreon producers, Kim the Third, Smexy Dork, Elska91, HBus12, I Got Big Shoes, Seth, and Josh DeVilliers. I appreciate all of you a ton. Catch you next time, lads. See you later. Fuck me, that fucking took too long. Jesus Christ. Wow. That looks pretty cool though.